Evergrande is probably it is the most indebted property company in the world by a very substantial margin. And it's way more indebted than any other property company in China. But you can understand the growth of the property sector in China over the last 20 years. The urban centers now accommodate more than 300 million more people than they did 20 years ago. So you can imagine the amount of development that has had to go on to accommodate those people in the urban centers. And Evergrande has been one of the leading companies in that process. In doing so, it took on way more debt than any other company in the Chinese development universe.
And as well as property, this is a company with a really diverse range of interests, from football clubs to electric cars to media. Is this a case of a company that spread itself too thin?
Yeah, very much so. But still, most of the debt is really concentrated in the property business. But yes, some of these subsidiaries and other activities that the company has could actually be its savior in some respects, because some of these are possibly quite valuable businesses, and if they can be sold to other buyers or takers, it might help pay down some of the debt that the company has. But it has $300 billion of liabilities right now. About a third of that is debt, and 2/3 of those liabilities are money that it owes to contractors and suppliers, builders, and also to the buyers of the homes that it has sold. These people have put down deposits. So a huge liability, not just to the banks, but to many suppliers and buyers of property as well.
So as you say, selling off parts of the business could be one way out, but so far no one's really buying.
Well, they have sold a few subsidiaries last year, but I think a lot of the potential buyers are standing back at the moment because they don't quite know what's going to happen. I think a lot of people suspect that the government will perhaps step in and encourage other companies in the system, both state-owned enterprises and also some of the private sector, to take over some of these assets and possibly also take over many of the property projects. It has property projects in something more than 200 cities all over China. So there's a lot of projects out there which could be snapped up by other developers who have better balance sheets and could take these on board.
So as you say, a lot of projects ongoing. How important is the company's survival to the property market in China and also the banking sector?
Well, the problem, of course, is not just the banking sector, but it's all the liabilities to all the other suppliers and contractors and the buyers of the property. I think the banking sector can probably survive this reasonably well. The banking system in China is very well capitalized. It's pretty well organized and pretty well run. But having said that, the risk of default of 50 or 60 billion US dollars of debt to one company is certainly not something that the banking sector looks forward to. And of course, there are many other companies out there, perhaps smaller companies than Evergrande, who also have significant debt and are at risk of default as well. Not so much in the listed company space, but certainly many smaller private companies as well. So Evergrande is really the tip of perhaps a slightly larger iceberg than we perhaps can see at the moment.